YouTube, a new top tier deck is coming to Master Duel, and it is incredibly annoying. Let's talk about all that and more. Let's go.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
So first off, you'll see on Reddit how it feels playing against Cool Tunes. Cool Tunes, we have this little art here of her neck stretching over to look at your hand. What the heck is that about? And if you're not paying attention well enough, you can see that her finger is also touching her extra deck. What the heck is that? That's right, looking at the hand, messing with the extra deck. And then you also have her assistant taking 2 cards off the top of her deck while she's being distracted to reveal it to you. So you have information on her deck, her hand, and screwing with her extra deck. And I have to say that this is accurate. This is actually what is going to happen against Cool Tune. So before we elaborate on that, what the heck is going on? If we go on over to YugiOhMeta.com, we click on the tier list, TCG, we don't really see Cool Tune here, so maybe it's not that big of a deal. Boom. Number 1 deck in the OCG. This is after Mitsurugi was formerly at rank 1, but then Prayers got limited 1, so it has now dropped in its placing. Still a very good deck, obviously, but does this mean that Cool Tune is going to be the best deck coming to Master Duel? So first, let's investigate that, and then we're going to investigate why the deck is seemingly the most annoying deck to play against. So looking at Cool Tune, boom. Clicking on this, we will see that there are a few cards here, many cards here that have a tiny OCG tag to them. That means that they are only in the OCG. OCG only, OCG only, OCG only, OCG only. So in order for this deck to be the best deck, we need those OCG only cards to come to Master Duel, which are not yet in TCG. So we're at this crossroads of, will we even get these cards? Did Konami even preview any of these cards like Rotary or the back-to-back? They did not. So there's a chance they're not coming out. So part of this investigation would entail us going into the original pack the card came out of and maybe seeing, are there any other familiar Master Duel release cards that came out in the same pack of these new cards so that we could then tie 2 and 2 together to figure out if we should expect these new cards to actually be coming out. Otherwise, the deck's not going to be super top tier if it does not get Rotary. I am quite confident we're not getting Fedralis. I believe that this would be on the banner. They would be showcasing this right away. I think this is still a very good deck if we were to just get Rotary without the Fedralis, but obviously this also makes the deck a lot better. But without this, it's just going to be a rogue deck until this then comes out, then becomes the annoying top tier deck. So let's look at that real quick. Starting off with Rotary. Rotary, scrolling on down, this is TCG, doesn't exist. We click on OCG, of course, it's everywhere. First of all, we have some people playing the turn 0 Synchro Emergency, which we're not going to get into that. Oh my cheese, that was a turn 0 first turn kill video we made a while ago. Now, scrolling down, of course, not out in the TCG, OCG, Blazing Dominion. This card is in 2026, brand new. We are only 4 months in. You want us to be getting a card that is about 3 months old? Let's see, maybe we have other stuff from this pack though. But click on Blazing Dominion. We have common, we don't care, rare, normal rare, super rare, ultra rare, ultimate rare, secret rare. So this is generally where the good stuff is, right? I think secret rare is always a reprint of cards that already exist, I'm not sure. Do you recognize any of these cards? That's the main point here. It's a very important question because if you don't recognize any of these cards, then we're probably not getting this card, right? That would be what we should be led to believe on whether Cool Tune's going to come out super top tier right away or not, and we don't have anything. None of this. This would be along the secret rare cards here, which are the most important cards, right? This would be a first time that we get Cool Tune from it. And in fact, we have here, if we scroll on up to ultra rare, I wanted this for my Doom Z, and I didn't get it. What the heck? So we're thinking that the Cool Tunes maybe going to get their card, but Doom Z didn't get their card. If we further scroll up, because this could be a bit confusing, this I also wanted for Doom Z, didn't get it. What the heck? This is also a nice Doom Z card, or this one's the better one, didn't get this, and we just got Doom Z. So a bunch of cards that we could have received, where if you want to make the Wave 2 plight on whether we're getting it or not. We didn't get the Wave 2 of Doom Xeon release, but there is something we received from here if we keep on scrolling. No, it's actually right here. Boom. Junk Signal. This, I believe, is the only, correct me if I'm wrong, the only card we have from here that is in Macedol. So this is where it could throw you off a bit of, because Junk Signal exists in Macedol, there's a chance that Rotary could also come to Macedol. What am I thinking the likeliness of this happening? I think it's unlikely. I'm leaning more towards unlikely, but obviously there's a chance, and an even greater chance if there were to be nothing from this pack, but there is. We have Junk Signal. So if everyone freaking out about Cool Tune being the new best tier 1 deck, hold your breath, just wait for when the pack comes out. I think we're gonna be uploading this on the day of the new pack coming out, and then you'll see. This is another card that is in the pack that we received in the Macedol. Now, this, similarly to the Junk Signal, it's a rare. So maybe they're only willing to grab rares or commons from this latest pack, and nothing that's super rare, ultra rare, or better, right? If we look at super rare, these are very powerful cards. Ultra rare, these are very powerful cards. We're not, I don't know if we're gonna get any of these. Even ultimate rare with the Fedralis, this card's gonna be meta warping like crazy. I don't think Fedralis is in a different rarity from what I'm seeing here. So this would be the first non-rare that we receive in the new pack if this were to come out. This would be a big change and not be in line with the Boral and the Junk Signal coming out. So if the pack were to actually come out, let's now do some investigating onto why this seemingly best deck in the OCG tier 1 is the most annoying deck to play against. So what I'm going to do with that is we're going to go on the Cool Tune breakdown, but I'm going to use the search filter. I'm going to type in OCG, click OCG, and I'm going to type in Cool Tune. So it's going to give us the filter of the Cool Tune deck type. I'm going to be typing in a very scary phrase: opponents D. What the heck does opponents D mean? You don't want to see opponents D. This is a very bad thing to see. Boom. This means they are going to in some way manipulate your D. If this card is sent to the graveyard as synchro material, you can excavate the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck. Banish one excavated card, also place the other on top or bottom of the deck. So first off, right away, Konami loved Draco Tail's fusion mechanics so much, they pretty much applied it to a different deck. This is Synchro Draco Tail. If Draco Tail fuses, they trigger Engrave. If the Cool Tune Synchro, they trigger Engrave. And what's a mechanic that people maybe get confused with the Synchro summoning? Not only do you have to count the levels, math could get confusing, you need a tuner and a non-tuner. The whole deck is tuner. They forego the non-tuner part of synchroing completely. It's just you put a tuner with the tuner and they both tune into a synchro, which is also a tuner. Then the tuner synchro could tune its way into a synchro. You get tuning like crazy. Now, another scary thing to be looking at in addition to this, so we have a way to manipulate our D. What about manipulating our H? The opponent's H. Well, I don't like Droll, I don't like Triple Tactics Talent, but what about the Rotary? The Rotary manipulates as your H, which is look at your opponent's hand. Add a Cool Tune spell and trap card from your deck to your hand. So you, for free, you just get information on the opponent's hand in addition to now searching your deck for a spell and trap card. I don't know why it couldn't just search the deck, but now I see your entire hand after manipulating your D. So far, you're seeing this picture come to fruition. This is manipulating the D. This is me looking at your H. But what about this? This is going to be the opponent's E. Uh-oh. Now, many people freak out more about this than the D, because the E is quite limited. What is the E? It's the extra deck. Please do not touch my extra deck. We know from a card like Unicorn how annoying this was, that this card was randomly looking at, not randomly banishing, but randomly out of nowhere being able to have the capability of looking at the extra deck and banishing a card face down. This is disgusting. This led a lot of players in the top tier Snake Eye meta having to play more than one copy of a card like Promethean Princess. This is ultra rare in Master Duel. So out of nowhere, I just have to play 2 of this because there may be some random opponent, maybe 50% chance they're gonna unicorn look at my extra deck. That's annoying. And it also could randomly make the game more expensive, where you have a prominent, powerful card you only play 1 of at ultra rare, you now need additional copies. We all know when a new pack comes out, what's safe to dismantle and what to craft. Well, this is going to throw it off. This is also similar to playing Pot of E. Because of Pot of E, I personally cannot decraft my 3rd copy of Access Code Talker, my 3rd copy of Celine, my 3rd copy of my Little Knight, because there's a chance that this could randomly banish it, and there may be a very small chance where I actually want to play all 3 of my deck to avoid that from happening. Now, with this opponent's E being manipulated, there's a good thing to this and a bad thing to it. So the Crackle, first off, is a new card that would be coming with the Rotary. We may not be getting this. This is a banish only until the end phase. Not that big of a deal, right? Look at the extra deck. If you do, banish until the end phase. So obviously this will only be good if used onto your own turn to look at your own extra deck and then during the end phase. So this is not going to be that crazy. What's going to be more in line with how Unicorn works is going to be the clip. Now there's an upside to this. This is a permanent banish. Banish 1 face-down card from your opponent's extra deck. This is random. They don't look at the extra deck, so they're not going to, with precision, look at the Promethean Princess and be able to banish it. So that means in most cases, when this effect fires off and permanently banishes your card, you're not going to care. But when it does go through, and because it's random, and even if this is the most prevalent deck, you're not going to plan for this, you're not going to prep for it, because again, it's a rare chance if you only have 1 card you care about of your 15 cards, still a 1 in 15 of this randomly banishing. Now, you can just keep on triggering this every single turn, but we know that most Yu-Gi-Oh! Duels are only relevant within the first 2 turns. So at best, maybe 2 relevant banishes from the extra deck before you get pissed. So, and also, this card is a turn 0 card. Not that that makes this annoying, but this is in line with something like Femina. All the newer decks are getting turn 0, which I do think is a good thing. I think the older decks, that's what they're missing. They need turn 0 cards, where during the opponent's main phase, just like Femina, you could fusion summon. This card is going to be able to perform a synchro summon on the opponent's turn. So this is where we see from the picture, manipulating the extra deck, looking at the hand, and looking at the top 2 cards of the deck, and then getting rid of 1 and putting the other on top or on bottom. Now, beyond all of the nonsense of what deck makes this deck annoying, what is the deck actually performing? What's it doing? What are its forms of disruption? What can you expect when playing against this? Well, there is what I would say a pseudo floodgate, Cool Tune RS. So we agree that a floodgate is something that is continually, or at least for our entire turn. Some people want to stretch the definition to a card like Drone Lockbird, maybe even Maxi being considered to be a floodgate because it messes up your whole turn, where you have to directly out that card or you can't do anything. The levels of monsters your opponent controlled 1700 or less are increased by 1. So we have a continual level modulation effect onto your opponent's monsters, only if they're 1700 or less. So this is what you could consider to be an annoying floodgate-like effect. This obviously would be affecting, let's say you want to play Ryzeal. Ryzeal, summon, oh, they're both level 5. I actually can't make any play. Now, if Cool Tune is the #1 deck in the OCG, I would think, but I don't know, that you would maybe account for this. If they're always ending on an RS and they're the most prevalent deck, and I'm a rank 4 deck, okay, I'll just side in or main deck a rank 5 in my rank 4 so that in this rare moment, I could at least go into at least a Tyrus instead of making my other play. Then maybe with Tyrus, I could try to Zeus up the field. So that's one form of annoyance here on top of making the deck more annoying. On top of that, this is an Omni Negate, but it's only during the main phase. So you could use impermanence on this in the draw phase to out it, but this also could just be summoned within your main phase, so you don't even have that opportunity to do so, as we already saw with the clip being a turn 0 disruption. This has the ability to banish a tuner from the graveyard, target a face-up card the opponent controls, spell, trap, monster, negate its effects. So this is similar to, I would say, a card like Dracotail Flame. What do we play because of the flame being prevalent? Droplet. So you could very simply use Droplet onto your monster, your spell, or your trap, whatever this is targeting, to just simply dodge the negate. So that would be another way to out this, playing Droplet or just Imperm early on in the turn. Now, this card does get quite large very quickly, 300 for each tuner in the graveyard. Another mechanic of this deck, besides being able to synchro tuners with tuners, is they synchro the hand. And it's not considered a part of the card effect. I know that could be weird. So I normal summon Q to special summon a monster from the deck. You would say that this is a good card to use your Veiler or Imperm or maybe even Ash on. They're pulling a card from the deck. Usually that's good to stop. But after you negate this, and you think they're done, right? If this card would be used as a synchro material, one tuner in your hand could be used as one of those other materials. They now could then synchro with their hand, with their negated Q that you Veilered or Impermed, and you're now going, what the heck is that? So through the Imperm or Veiler, synchro with the hand, and then they're looking at your top of your deck and then messing up your next turn going forward. So this is another interesting thing where a lot of people continually bring up when I talk about a new master rule suggestion of the turn 2 player starts with the top card of the deck already in their hand and they don't draw for the turn. People think, oh my gosh, my Gene Raider. Well, this would be another deck that new rule would be affecting, because this is just messing up the next turn draw. So what else are they doing in addition to that and having that mechanic that plays through a negate? They have the mix. So we know with the Dracotail monsters, when fused, they like to non-target negate. They like to pop a back row. They like to pop a monster. Now, thankfully, they don't have a non-target negate. And also, when destroying a monster, it's targeting. Because it has been incredibly annoying to try to play through the non-target pops of now you have to flip up and use all your cards because you don't know what they're going to be using it on. So this makes it much more interactable of you're targeting a monster, okay, I'm going to have that monster jump off into a fusion or a synchro or just jump off the field so it doesn't get destroyed. And then you have the Rico, which target a spell and trap card. Not a big deal. Okay, you targeted, I'm just going to use it. And now it's not a case where I have 2 back row and I have to use both my back row because you're going to non-target pop one of them. No, you target one, I just use that one card. What's going to be really annoying with this deck, probably more annoying than them looking at your extra deck and messing things up, is maybe this card. This is a quick play add and synchro. They're going to want this on turn 1. They're going to want this on turn 2. On both turns, they're going to be using it on you, where if you try to Veiler, you try to mess up their monster, they're just going to quick effect add and then perform a synchro summon. Now, what is really good against Dracotail that a lot of you are already using, or used to be using before the ban list? Retaliating Sea. Just like Dracotail, this is also a very good card against Cold Tune. I was playing full power Cold Tune myself. They Retaliating Sea'd me, and I was like, holy shite, I am screwed. And you could be thinking, oh, negate it with the RS, right? How do I banish a tuner from my graveyard if I have no tuners in my graveyard because Retaliating Sea says nothing could be in the freaking graveyard because everything gets banished? So I have an RS on the field. I can't negate with it. None of my cards are triggering in grave. The Retaliating Sea will work against the Synchro Overtake. The Retaliating Sea will work against the Cool Tune Synchro, because this gives you the ability to perform a Synchro on the resolution of adding from your deck, thus Chain Retal Sea, Chain Retal Sea. Now, Red Reboot against this deck is not going to be good like it is against Dracotail, so with the comparisons of Dracotail. In addition to that, what else they have? They have another card that's not specifically a Cool Tune card, but it may as well be. The Zalin. This is another negate. It can be kind of confusing. When a card or effect is activated in response to another card, effect, or activation, you could choose to negate the card that's being responded to or the card that was activated. So what that means is, as long as there's a chain link 2 or higher, this will choose to negate something on the chain. If you activate your card, let's say you activate your pot of E to draw 2, if I chain Max C, I now could chain Zalin to my Max C to now negate your pot of E. So that is a scenario there. But with that mindset, a card effect is activated in response to another card or effect activation. You can negate the first effect if you do destroy that card, or negate the second effect. That means if I chain to your card I want to negate, that's a priority pass. I pass to you to now chain to my Max C. If you chain to my Max C, now the pot of E is out of reach of being negated. So there is counterplay and interactivity with this card. I do enjoy that. I like the mind game with that. That is a very cool thing where this is a very powerful card, but you could also outplay this card. And this is in line with Konami limiting cards like Solemn Judgments, where you can't really respond to them. They're one and done, the chain's over, it's no fun, I negated you, let's now move on to something else. We could actually have some thought on how to play around this. So negate, level modulate. They could use the Cool Tune Synchro to perform a synchro on the opponents on your turn, or use the clip to perform a synchro on your turn to then trigger the effects to pop a monster, or being able to pop a back row. That's pretty much what the deck entails without further going into more convolutions of what the deck do. So yes, it's a little bit of this, pop that, pop this. It's a mix of Draco Tail while also being its own thing. And do get ready for it to be coming out soon. And again, the main thing's gonna be, if it comes out the rotary or not, this will be the main decider on whether this is gonna be the new best top tier deck or not. I should probably throw in, I mean, I already said we're not gonna, so just to dab onto this a little bit, even though this is not a Cool Tune card, this pretty much is forming the entire OCG meta around this one card, where it is going to be able to pop a card in the field, dump a card from the extra deck so it could destroy a monster and then return a card. It's super broken, but I don't think it's worth discussing heavily because I really don't think this is coming out with it. And of course, it is a very good card that also makes the deck a lot better, but all the other top tier decks are also going to be using this. As long as you either don't use the extra deck or you only use the extra deck for synchro summoning, then you get to use and abuse this. Let's go.